How's it going, you big bloody beautiful bastards? We've got some beautiful run it once action for you. I've only really played on the site once, but I'm enjoying it. Really really clean and crisp, as you're gonna see. Call that. Yeah, I literally deposited €100. They were kind enough to just give me €10 for free. And now, after my first session, I was up about 6 buy-ins, I think. Yeah, 6 buy-ins sounds about right. So, needless to say, first impressions, very good. Just going to settle into the game a little bit here first. Not going to go crazy. Do have an ace queen though. We see check back from the ace jack. I'm going to see what we can do here. Get the fold, which is pretty much to be expected. One of the first things I've noticed about this site actually is that obviously because there's not much traffic, you end up in a lot of short-handed games, which, depending on your opinion, might be good or bad. I mean, thus far for me it's been pretty good, so I can't complain. Go on then. Taking a little punt here. We haven't really got anything, but nice. One thing I've noticed as well about the player pool already is that the player pool is kind of weak. I don't know if that's being rude or what, but it is. I'm just going to keep a little eye on my stream here. I might have to restart it. I just noticed some of the for some reason it seemed to have frozen a moment ago. I'll try not to let that happen again, but if it does, we'll restart and go again. Not too difficult. Okay, so in our splash the pot up here, we've got pocket jacks, which is a good hand to have. And splash the pot is one of Run It Once's kind of rate back deals. So occasionally Run It Once will just, as it says, they'll just splash the pot with a load of money, and that's part of their way of doing rate back, which I quite like it, to be honest, because it kind of gives everyone a chance, no matter how much you grind or whatever like that. Like, everyone's got a chance to win a little bit of rate back, even if you don't meet the weekly or monthly requirements. Was good. Raise up the deuces. What I found the other day was pretty much just taking it chill. You know, not going too crazy. Just playing basic kind of ABC poker, and the chips just kind of came my way. So hopefully that'll work again today. I'm going to see bet here, hoping that he's missed some kind of draw. And I guess he has. And we chop up. Both of us got ace high up there. One thing I am liking as well is that the transitions between tables are so easy. With the Party Poker or Poker Stars, you tend to get a little bit of kind of shuffling about at the tables, even though you can get them like pretty bang on in terms of where they are. There's always like a little bit of a kind of shuffle about when you switch to a different table. Streamlabs, but this is nice. It's just smooth. But here's one of those splash the pot hands, and you got to look at this like an ante, and essentially just way up your raise size pre-flop to try and go for it, as evidenced. Did the job there. I've just noticed my little automated chat thing has given you the wrong information there. Only slightly. I recently changed my Instagram account, so it is not what it says there. It's not Big Shades Twitch, it's Big Shades TV. Why? Well, why not? So if you click that link, it ain't going to take you anywhere. But hopefully the next one will be correct. Just going to check here. Go through a little kind of stab just for protection. See where that takes us. And we go through. Nice. Good start. We got the king queen off. I think we can 3-bet this against the min raise, mainly to knock out the blinds. Like, I'm not expecting him to fold very often, but every now and again he will, and every now and again we'll flop a queen. Makes life a lot easier. I'm just going to c-bet small, try and get called by his like kind of pocket sevens, pocket eights, hands like that. I'm just going to target the exact same range again. And the 5 hits the turn. The raise is a bit concerning, as we do see we hit a straight up here as well. I think I've got a call, and now the deuce is pretty bad. I was expecting him to yeah, I was expecting him to raise up some ace X kind of as some bluffs, like ace 7, ace 6, something like that, but or even pocket 6s as well, all of which make it straight now. So evening, Finn, how's you doing, man? At the moment, all is you and me, so I appreciate the enthusiasm, but there's just the two of us for now. You got me all to yourself. What a lucky guy you are. It's been a while since I've streamed with 6 tables open, so I'm going to try and keep up with what's going on. And feel free to just completely fucking berate me if I'm like talking about a hand and I don't actually like have it on the screen or anything like that. Yeah, go on then, we can see about that. Wow, someone came to play. This is something I've noticed actually in the one time that I've played on Run It Once. There was loads of people just jamming like any 2 cards pre. I was printing against one particular guy. I had aces against him 3 times, and every time he got it in all in pre. One time was with like king jack off, the other time was with like 7-6, and I can't remember what the other one was. But honestly, it's just a case of with this site, from what I've played on here so far, it's just you wait to get given money for free, and that's a pretty nice game to begin. Honest. We're going to see bet pretty big here. It's good for our range. Just going to fold against the raise. No reason to get fancy here. We've got queens on the other table. We 3-bet and unfortunately don't get there. Or don't get any action rather. Which is fine by me. I mean, it's not fine by me, but it's fine compared to like who's in a huge stack. Yeah, I think the reason why I've gained some followers, and this is like such a weird thing, and I've got no idea why, because I haven't streamed since the last time you were in the stream. I posted a thing on Instagram a couple of days ago, kind of mocking PokerStars actually, with their, I don't know if you've seen it, their new app, the Poker Dojo. And there's loads of like little mini games on there. It's not really like playing poker, it's just like some little fun little mini games to kill 5 minutes. And I was sat in IKEA waiting an hour for them to literally bring one table to me. All they had to do was pick a table up off a shelf, and they decided that that was going to take an hour. I mean, that's up to them. But while I was sat there, I had a little go on this app, and on like my like 3rd attempt of one of the mini games, I hit the top of the daily leaderboard, and I thought, oh, go on, I'll post it on Instagram. And I posted on Instagram just saying top of the leaderboard. Does this mean I'm a pro now or something? I tweeted it at PokerStars, and then within 24 hours, I had like 4 followers that just came to kind of join my just kind of joined me. But then also, the last stream I did, the amount of views they had shot up from 3 to like 33 overnight as well. So apparently posting random shit on Instagram is the way forward. That's how you get viewers. Forget streaming. We get more viewers from not streaming. We got a little hand developing here. I raised pre, c-bet the flop, and our friend here called. And I checked the turn, kind of hoping he's got like a queen jack or some random club shit. And he did have random club shit, but unfortunately it had an ace in it, so there we are. But I got did just pick up a little pot by here as well. The other guy had queen 6. We got pocket 9s down here. See a min raise and then a min 3-bet, and I'm always kind of wary of min 3-bets because it's like that weird kind of, I want to put more money in but I don't want to scare you off kind of bet, and I'm always just a little bit touchy about them. How you been doing anyway, Finn? Have you been grinding much? Been getting some victory? I kind of saw that coming. Problem with the turn and river just kind of hit his smack bang in his range, so not a lot I can do there. I mean, this is smack bang in my range, and this geezer's decided he wants to come and play. So, I mean, sure, I'm down. Let's play, man. Question is, do we want to raise or just call? I think I'm going to raise it small. There's going to be a ton of draws, I think, in his range. I might be wrong, but I think there's going to be a load of draws, and I don't want to just let them see a really cheap card. I want him to put a little bit more money in if he's going to be draw into anything. If he comes over the top of me, then I'll just fold and say that he's got Queen 10 or pocket threes or something like that. But I think we can get a lot more value out of him doing this, and potentially, he might even fold if he's got like a random ace jack or jack 10 or something like that. He's thinking about it. Also, I posted on Instagram that I was looking for victory, but I've already found it. Can you see that? There you go. And he's decided to sit out. I mean, that's fair as well. 65k hands, 122. That's good going, man. It's all about that grind. Yeah, 150 is a sensible time to move up to 5NL, man. That's what I did the first 1 or 2 times that I grinded from 2NL to 5NL. And then I kept having to cash out because of, oh, fuck off. Because of bills and things. And then I'd gotten good enough at 5NL that I then became a bit more confident and thought, right, well, when I get to, $100 instead, that's when I'm going to make the jump up to 5NL instead of 150. Because once you've done it a couple of times, you kind of get sick of then just playing 2NL. Which I'm sure is something that you may find in the future. Like, you get good at the next stake up, and then if you have to cash out and drop stakes again, it's kind of like, that's when it really feels like a grind, because you're like, I know that I can beat this stake, and I know I can beat the stake above, but I'm just kind of stuck here for now. But that's good. That's good going, man. How long have you been playing poker for? Are you relatively new to the game? Have you come in during the kind of the COVID-19 era, or have you been grinding for a while or playing off and on? Let's add another table in here. Well, I'm going to try it if I can find any players. You know what I mean already? Like, we got three-handed here, heads up, three-handed, four-handed, and no one. And it's frustrating because I'm, from the very little kind of exposure that I've had to run it once, I'm really enjoying their software, and I'm really enjoying the site and the way that everything feels. Like, just the transition from hand to hand, if you watch this, it's just smooth. So I don't feel like it's trying to do anything too fancy, and I like that. The only downside is from your perspective, for example, is it doesn't have 2NL, so it does miss that kind of lowest tier that you find on almost any other site. It just goes straight in at 4NL, which is fine once you've got a bit of a bankroll. I mean, it's great, but yeah, that's good progress for 9 months, man. Like, genuinely, that's really good progress. Most people within the first year, like, don't even turn a profit. Like, at any stake, they just piss money away. I mean, who knows? Maybe you've done that before. I don't know, but I'm going to assume that you have kind of taken it pretty seriously from the start. Ace Jack off. I don't know if anyone else kind of feels this, but I always find Ace Jack off is a really kind of weird hand because you're never quite strong enough when you hit the ace to be, you know, when you 3-bet, for example, you're always kind of worried about the ace queen or maybe even the ace king, and then you also don't really get much of an opportunity to hit straights. I mean, you have to literally hit king 10 queen to hit straight. So I always find, like, unless I hit top pair and the top pair is jack, or like top 2 and it's ace jack, I really struggle to play ace jack off. In which case I tend to try and another table's gone. In which case I tend to try and end the hand like pre-flop if I can. We got aces. Aces are good. Got tables are dropping left and right. This is pretty good. Pretty good board for us. He's going to have some Jack X that is going to call this river, and he's going to have some Ace X that is just not going to be as good. Nice. Okay. I'm just going to come straight in for a 4-bet here. You see this a lot. People tend to 3-bet more when there's this little splash the pot amount in the middle. Realize I switched to the wrong table. Shit is hard, man. It is hard. But yeah, literally aces. I 4-bet. He folds. So I get it. But there's a splash the pot amount of 8 cents in there. So I'm 8 cents up on my money. Currently struggling to find more tables at the moment, which is annoying. Yeah, I don't know if you can see there. I know that you can see there because I got a fucking screen telling me you can see there. But yeah, the splash the pot amount is kind of there. What I've noticed is that people tend to either way over or way underestimate their kind of, you know, what they should be betting and things like that. When that splash the pot amount is in the middle. They're either way too aggressive with marginal holdings, trying to win an extra 8 cents, or 12 cents, or whatever, or they're way too passive and they're still raising like their normal amount, so they're still min raising when they actually should be raising like 4x or something. That definitely adds a different dynamic to the game. I really like it actually. Makes it a little bit more interesting than your standard like cash game that just goes around in circles for hours on end and there's nothing ever changes. But with this, like, sometimes they'll throw in 2 big blinds, 3 big blinds, or sometimes they'll throw in 10 big blinds, like 10 big blinds just in the middle, just for fun. We're going to c-bet here. The ace is really good for our range. We're going to c-bet ace X on the flop a lot. Oh, what a fucking river. Here we go. Now I'm going to overbet. I want to represent that I've missed a flush, basically. I'm polarizing my range, essentially, to say that I've either got a set or nothing. And I'm hoping to get called by like a random ace that called on the flop that is just going to think I'm full of shit. He does fold. He might have had a queen there, so... When you move up to 5 and L, yeah. Bluff less. That is rule number 1. Bluff less. That doesn't mean never bluff, and that's one of the things that I hear people say all the fucking time. They say, oh, never bluff at the micro stakes. No, that's bollocks. Just bluff less. So what I did there with the pocket 8s is perfect example. Pocket 8s there. Here we go. Pocket 8s there. I hit my set on the river. Lovely jubbly. Great. Fantastic. If I'd missed the river, I probably would have just checked it back, thinking that he's not folding whatever it is he's got. However, if I had something like king king jack or something like that, something that blocks the really good aces and blocks the really good queens, I'd be pulling the same move there. So I'd be overbetting the river to try and get them off the hand. It's one of these things that, you know, you just got to kind of feel it out depending on what player pool you're playing in. If you're playing on PokerStars, underbluff even more so than you probably think you should be underbluffing. Just literally just wait for value hands. But on sites like this, where from what I've seen, players are a little bit more willing to let their hands go, as you've probably seen already, then I'm quite happy to try a couple of big bluffs, if you know what I mean. So yeah, rule number one, bluff less, but not never. Just pick your spots really well. Only when it makes like a lot of sense. Second recommendation I'd have, start with less tables. So say for example you are used to playing 4 tables on 2NL. It's a pretty standard amount that most people play. Instead of jumping straight to 4 tables at 5NL, just go for 2 tables or even 1 table. And the reason for that is that you essentially don't want to kind of overload your brain trying to learn a new pattern of play, if that makes any kind of sense at all, because it is a slight difference between 2NL and 5NL. Like a lot of the players that come from 2NL, or sorry, a lot of the players that are already playing at 5NL have come from 2NL. So it's you're generally dealing with a slightly better kind of player than you are at 2NL, which is just people, you know, sat on a Friday night drinking beer. Don't know who those kinds of people are, but I'm sure they exist somewhere. Anyway, so yeah, just keep your tables small and really focus in on how you want to play and how your opponents are playing, so you can get a feel for the player pool and then kind of take that next step up to playing, you know, 4 tables or 6 tables or whatever your normal amount is with a bit more confidence. So you're not there thinking, oh, but this happens at 2NL, but should I be doing that at 5NL or whatever like that. So that's the other thing I'd say is just keep your tables low. I guess the third thing I'd say is, and this is a rule in general, I was watching an interview with or a podcast rather, with Olivier Busquet and Ben CB earlier, and one of the things Olivier Busquet said, one of his main rules is overfold on the river. And after playing 5NL, I can tell you, like, no truer advice has ever been given. Because people are just, when they check raise you on the river at 5NL, 95% of the time they have exactly what you think they have. You know, if the flush comes in on the river and they check raise you on the river, they've got the flush. Like, don't be under any illusion thinking, oh, well, they might be c-bet in this range and then checking back this range and check raise in this bluffing range and stuff like that. Don't think like that, because that is gonna cost you money. For the most part, that's going to be stuff that you're going to experience at much higher stakes when people are thinking about, you know, check raise bluffing ranges on the river. Don't worry about it at 5NL. The temptation is there. I've been there myself and I've done it, and I've gone right. I've given every justification in the world for me to make a call for my entire stack of 100 big blinds and been wrong, and then gone, for fuck's sake, I knew that. I knew he had that. And then you just get frustrated at yourself because you weren't disciplined enough to make the fold that you knew you should have made. So overfold on the river is a great piece of advice from a poker player who's far better than I am. Okay, I'm just going to try and get into another game here. I've managed to get in one here. Heads up against Ronnie. Unless I was already heads up against Ronnie. Was I? I don't know. I got 4 tables going again, and I'm just waiting on some others eventually open up. What we got here? Yeah, there's not many players online, unfortunately. I don't know what Ronnie's doing. He's decided to just tank the first hand. I'll tell you one thing that actually this site is really good for already is for working on your short-handed play. Like I've already said that there are very few tables where you get 6 players on. Most of them are 4 players, or they're heads up, or whatever like that. But I've never really worked on my heads up game. I've seen some stuff, and you know you're supposed to supposed to be a little bit looser, and you're supposed to be a bit more aggressive and things like that. But generally speaking, I've never really properly sat down and played lots and lots of heads up poker. It's very rare that you get to heads up a MTT and things like that. So yeah, it doesn't happen often. Sometimes you try and play tricky with bluffs and get a slap in the face. I mean, who hasn't? I mean, I don't think anyone can call themselves a poker, not even a poker player, even just a poker enthusiast, unless you've tried some tricky fancy bluff that you've seen on TV and it's just gone horribly, horribly wrong, and you've just got a massive slap in the face and you've lost fucking 200 big blinds or some shit like that. Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta laugh in those situations. But obviously, when you try them too often, then you can end up with some more long-term problems in that your bankroll starts suffering. So, yeah, it's simply a case of just people just need to stop trying to be fucking Phil Ivey or Daniel Negreanu or insert famous pro that they used to watch on TV here. Because at the end of the day, you're actually is better. What I was going to say is you're not Phil Ivey, or you're not Phil Hellmuth, or you're not Phil Lark, or any other Phil. However, that isn't the important part. The important part isn't being Phil Ivey playing at 4NL or 5NL. The important thing is that you're not playing against a Phil Ivey or a Phil Hellmuth or whoever. Like, that's the most important thing to realize. Like, people on these in these games, they don't think at a high level, and that's no disrespect to them. Like, I'm dissing myself with that as well. But just simple fact of the matter is, like, people aren't thinking about their optimal delayed c-bet range on a 3-4-5 board that includes 25% bluffs, and they're going to c-bet 36% of the time, or some shit like that. You know, people aren't thinking like that. People are thinking like that at the very, very, very highest level. And there's a great quote. I can't remember who it's from. I can't remember the exact wording, but it's that to be a winning player in whatever game you're playing in, you should be thinking only one level above your opponent. If you start thinking 5 levels above your opponent, then you're just going to end up getting screwed over by your own internal monologue that just goes around in circles thinking of all the hands that they can have or not have. I'm going to check this back. Yeah. I didn't think he was folding there. I figured he probably had some sort of heart or something. So yeah, that's the thing that people kind of forget, and there's something that I've struggled with a lot. Like I'll sit there for a week studying some fucking GTO shit, and not to say that GTO shit, GTO is brilliant, but I'll sit there studying a GTO principle that just has very little application at these stakes, and then I wonder why it doesn't work and why my bankroll starts to suffer, and I realise, holy shit, I'm shoving all in on a bluff that actually at this stake Ronnie Y or Bill R are never folding. And then, as you said, you get a slap in the face and you feel like a twat. I'll tell you one thing that is weird. Like, I don't know if you've ever done this in your 9 months of play, but it's something that I'm doing at the moment, which is kind of counterintuitive. So right now, the bankroll that I have on Run It Once is only 100 and something euros. It was 130 something euros at the start of the stream, so let's go with that. After depositing 100 euros that I've transferred over from PokerStars, so I just withdrew it from PokerStars, like $120, and then put 100 euros on Run It Once. So essentially, what I've got is, which I don't know if it's a good thing to do or not, given that my bankroll isn't huge. If you combine all my bankrolls together, you're looking at just over probably $900 US, or just under $1,000 US, somewhere in that region. Now, obviously, if I took all of that money and I put all of that onto one site, I could play higher stakes. I could play on party poker, for example. I could play 10 NL if I wanted to. I've got enough capital there across the different sites to do that. But actually, I'm one of these people. I like spreading it around. I don't like being locked into one site. Because for years I would only play on PokerStars, or I'd only play on Party Poker, or only play on 888. I've been through them all. And generally speaking, when I was doing that, I would, after a while, I'd get fed up with that site and I'd switch to a different site, or I'd think, oh fuck, I would have loved to have played that tournament or something like that was going on a different site, and I couldn't because I didn't have any money on there. So I've started kind of spreading the wealth around, to try and, I don't know, I guess just give myself multiple options, like not only for playing but also for streaming as well. Like, part of the reason, fucking hell, all right, part of the reason why I deposited on Run It Once was because I wanted to stream Run It Once. They do have offers for streamers, which I'm gonna look into a bit more, where you get extra rate back if you stream Run It Once or something like that for a certain amount of hours. But really, like, for me, I noticed like not many people are, like, hardly anyone's streaming Run It Once at all on Twitch, and having played on it, it's a good fucking site. It just needs more people. So yeah, and take a bit of a chance here. I'm taking a chance on him having like ace jack, ace 10, something like that, which clearly he's not got because he folded, but. You notice as well, like I mean, I don't know at the moment if I'm up or down. There's one slight problem is that I don't think there are any HUDs at the moment that are compatible with Run It Once. I did try one or two just to see if they worked, but I can get them to work. But thus far, all of my stack sizes are still on the relatively low side. I'm picking up some chips here and there, and not a lot else is kind of coming from it. And that's because the style that I'm trying to go for is like here, perfect example. So I've 3-bet my ace jack suited. The flop is terrible for me. I've got like nothing. I've got some blockers for some ace queens and queen jacks, but generally speaking, I've not got a great chance here. So I'm kind of just doing a one and done, and sometimes, as you can see, I might even just have the best hand anyway. So yeah. Run it once is softer than PokerStars. I can, right now, I can hand on heart say that from my own experience. Granted, I've only played one day on here. I only played one day for a couple of hours a few days ago, so it's not set in stone yet. Like, don't get me wrong, I may change my mind on that. But at the moment, it certainly seems like it's softer than PokerStars. And I'd say maybe as soft as 2NL on 888. If I had to put my, put a gun to my head kind of thing. I'd say it's probably as soft as 2NL on 888, which is great because it's higher stakes than that. Not much, but it is higher. So wouldn't it be sick if we could just peel off the fucking 8 of clubs now on the river? That'd be fun. I'd enjoy that greatly. I enjoy picking up a small pot as well. Yeah, so it is better. It is softer, in my opinion, than those two sites. Party Poker, I think it's a little bit softer than Party Poker, which I've played quite a bit on their fast forward cash games, their equivalent of Zoom. If you've not played on there, and that was good. That was definitely softer than PokerStars as well. But I do think Run It Once, thus far from what I've seen from the very limited exposure I've had, it seems to be the softest site that I've played on, at least for quite a long time. I've previously played on some other sites, Winner Poker, which no longer exists. It got shut down, I think, at the start of this year. That was pretty soft. But there's actually a hand that I played on Winner Poker just to kind of reminisce. It was something ridiculous, like 600 or 700 big blinds pot. And I had like bottom set, and this guy who was an absolute maniac, but had occasionally got lucky, was just firing and firing and firing. And I tanked for like 2 minutes on a river call and managed to call it correctly. There was so much money on that site to be won if you had the cojones. Oh, look at this, mind. And this is exactly why you occasionally call a 3-bet with 6-5 suited, or hands like that. And I think I'm shoving or calling a shove on any river. I'm not entirely sure what to do with my pocket jacks here. I guess I just call and hope that an ace doesn't come. And now we call, obviously, against the ace high. There you go. And there is the proof of how soft this is. I'm a little bit more concerned with this turn now. 10 is a pretty bad card. I mean, it's good that he's checked to me, but I'm just going to check it back and try and show down. Ace 8 off. he 3-bets ace-8 off and then c-bets 2 streets with ace-high and no draw. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm fucking loving it. Like, we got ace-king, we got ace-6, 8-6 rather. We got aces. Oh, what do we do here? I think we just check, don't we? Yeah, I think it's just slow play. Hope he doesn't have ace-jack. And that's, I mean, that's unfortunate. Wasn't really expecting 7-6 there, to be honest. But here's the thing: it's very easy for me to look at this hand and go, oh well, I should have c-bet the flop then. But yeah, I can't, like, if you c-bet ace 4-3 as a flop with ace king every time, you're just going to miss out on so much money in the long run, because people will have fuck all a lot of the time, or they have a worse ace and they'll, or maybe having a worse ace is a bad idea, but it's a bad example. But a lot of the time they will just have some random trash that they're just going to try and bluff you with, because they think because you check back on the ace high board that you don't have an ace. So. I'm not upset about calling that river then. I understand what you're saying in terms of wanting the challenge, but when you're at the bottom, when you're learning the game, you've just started, you're trying to get to grips with, you know, the complexity of the game. What you have to take into consideration is your bankroll is a finite amount. It is whatever it is. It's $100, let's say. And the best way to kind of push on and get forward is to obviously put a lot of volume in and things like that. But what I was exactly the same. I didn't like the idea of not playing on a site because it was deemed to be harder. I liked the competitive aspect. However, overfold rivers. However, what I didn't consider was the potential advantage of playing on a weaker site, playing on a site that's got a softer player pool, and just being able to rake in the money. Because the competitive aspect of it, after a long time of playing, like I've been playing for years, on and off for over 10 years. I've been playing, you know, occasionally making a bit of money and then cashing it all out and then not playing for a while and things like that. And trying to play at the harder micro stakes for the competitive aspect is kind of pointless, because let's say, here's a good example, right? I'm gonna blow your fucking mind with this. Hopefully. Let's say that you have PokerStars and Party Poker. Let's just use those two as an example. And PokerStars 2NL is more difficult than Party Poker 2NL. Party Poker 5NL is equivalent in difficulty to PokerStars 2NL. Okay, so let's just go Party Poker 5NL equals PokerStars 2NL, right? Now, obviously, your goal wherever you play, when you're playing at 2NL, is to move up from 2NL to 5NL, right? So you're always looking to get to that next level, that next challenge, okay? However, by playing on, in this example, Party Poker, you, for a start, because the game is softer, you get to 5NL quicker, you get a bigger bankroll easier, and you generally make life kind of easier for yourself. You build yourself up a nice little cushion of money, your $150 or whatever, before you move up to 5NL, and then you're good, right? You're pretty happy with that. And then you move up to 5NL, and then you get the same challenge that you would have had all along at PokerStars 2NL, except this time you are playing for more money. And actually, let's assume you have been studying and working on your game and things like that whilst playing at 2NL. You're going to come into that 5NL field with significant advantage, like over that field, compared to going in at the same competitive level at PokerStars 2NL, playing against the same strength opponent but inexperienced, meaning it takes you longer to get to 5NL because you're playing against more difficult opposition and you're less experienced. I feel like there's some sort of knowledge there that I've dropped. I'm not entirely sure where it is, but there's definitely knowledge in there somewhere. And I hope that makes some semblance of sense. This is one of those boards where when you've 3-bet with ace jack off, I was talking about earlier, ace jack off being just a pain in the arse hand, you just check fold. What am I hoping to hit? So many people think that they have to c-bet every fucking hand that they 3-bet pre-flop, and you do not have to do that. Sorry, my shorts are riding up. You don't have to c-bet every single fucking hand. People think they do. Look at the situation. Look at what you have. Look at what your opponents have, and make an educated decision instead of just clicking buttons. See, now here, he's 3-bet, I 4-bet. Now the other day when I played on here, I did start folding ace king off here because I didn't know what the player pool was like. I didn't know how prone people were to shoving all in, and then I was getting all in with people shoving fucking ace 7 offsuit and things like that. So I might be wrong here, but I'm gonna call. Okay, he's got aces. This is the absolute worst time for me to be making this example or showing this example. But yeah, what I found was, I'd say probably 80% of the time when I saw people going all in on this site, it was with hands that were worse than ace king, which tells me, against the population now, until I get to know specific players and things like that, I should realistically be going all in with ace king pre, either 5-betting it all in or calling it all in. Especially when we're short-handed as well, because people's ranges are a lot wider. Just calling with the sixes here. I'm going to look to hit a set, hopefully. Not going to happen. One piece of advice as well. I don't know if you yeah, one piece of advice, which I don't know if it's being apparent. I've completely lost my train of thought. I do apologize. Oh no, I've just done it. That's what I was going to say. One piece of advice, which is something that no one really advised me of. It's something that I just kind of picked up from watching people who are better than I am on, you know, Twitch and YouTube and things. And what that is raising 2.5x in cash games instead of 3x. Or more to the point, raising 2.5x with your like average hands, and raising 3x with your better hands. And the reason is because a lot of the time they've kind of got the same fold equity. Most of the time people are just going to fold anyway. Oh wow. Yeah, I was a little bit worried about the straight. I was more worried about the flush, I'll be honest. Yeah, so you end up kind of stealing pots away for cheaper than you might otherwise. I'm gonna rep the king here. About 30, I think is about right. If he doesn't fold, I could still potentially hit a 10. I could still potentially hit a 10, he says. In which case now, I think I go for the overbet. Make the overbet a little bit more appealing. And hope to get called by a king. Or raised by a king or a king 10. Hey, and we get some value, guys. Have a look at what you had. You had king 10. If you see that, there we go. King 10, the perfect river card. It's one of those situations where you're like, fuck, if I'd have known he had king 10, I would have check raised them all in, and, you know, that's all she wrote kind of thing. So we're mainly playing heads up cash now. This seems to be the thing that's happening. We've got 2 heads up tables and then 2 tables with 3 people on. And we've got 1 table with a set. We flopped a set. We're going to bet pretty comfortably here. That's just unfortunate that our friend there doesn't have anything. Sorry, I say friend, I mean enemy. I'm going to 3-bet my king 10 here. It's not the best hand to 3-bet in the world, but I'd rather potentially try and win the pot pre-flop. Definitely going to 3-bet king queen. Heads up. One of the things as well, when you're heads up and 3-handed, you need to expand your, not only your raise first in range, but you need to expand your 3-bet in range as well, because people are just gonna, well, if people are raising if people are expanding their raise first in range, then you need to therefore expand your 3-bet in range to counteract against that. Also, I gotta say, I've got I'm currently wearing new headphones that my girlfriend bought me on our 5th anniversary. 8 fucking years she stuck around for. I must be doing something right. And honestly, the old headphones that I was wearing before, these things, right? I bought for £15, something like that, like fucking 8 years ago or something like that, and I've just been wearing them and wearing them to death. And actually now, I've got a shiny new pair of headphones that cost a damn sight more than those, and they're just so comfy, like velvet fucking memory foam on my ears. And I'm just throwing out like an endorsement for buying better headphones, basically. If you're someone who wears headphones a lot, like I do, especially when I'm streaming, and you haven't invested in like a comfortable pair of headphones yet, fucking do it, and your ears will thank you. I've been wearing these like off and on all day, and my ears are only just now starting to fatigue. So aside from just having them on for the last hour while streaming, I've been putting my headphones on and off all day whilst working and going on calls with people and things like that. For my ears to now only just now be getting tired, like, it's a fucking godsend. I'll tell you one thing I haven't checked actually is my place on the leaderboard. So another good thing with Run It Once is they have, at the moment anyway, I don't know how long it'll last, but at the moment they've got a daily leaderboard. Basically, based on how much you play and how much rake you earn points, and then you arrive on the leaderboard, and depending on where you finish on the leaderboard, if you finish in the top 10, then you can get some money, basically. So I'll use one of these unused tables just to show you what that looks like. So at the moment I'm in 12th place. There's me. And some of these people have probably been playing like all day, and that's why they're up higher. I came close to finish on leaderboard the one day that I played the other day. I finished like 2 spots off it by the time it finished for the day. But I mean, if you're someone who's got like a whole day to grind, where you literally have nothing else to do, and you're just going to be like, yeah, I'm just going to fucking sit here and just grind 4NL all day because that's what I want to spend my life doing, then it's an offer worth kind of going for. Because think about it, if you play 4NL and you finish top of that leaderboard, then aside from all the rake back bonuses and things that you'll get anyway for having played so much that day, you then also have the benefit of making some money on leaderboard. If you leaderboard, even if you finish top, then there's five buy-ins given to you for nothing. Well, not for nothing. Obviously, you've raked it, but I mean, I think if you worked it out. In fact, yeah, do you know what? This is really fucking good, because this person who's currently top of the leaderboard, this is what they've raked in dollars. So you get 1 point for every every euro rather that you rake. So this person at the moment, let's say it stays like this, their rake back is maths. 133% is what their rake back is. Do you know any fucking site that gives 133% rake back? Obviously, it's different if you come all these positions lower, but you could be this guy, and you could play all day, lose, I don't know, lose €2, and still be in profit for the day just off that. I think at some point in time, because Run It Once is growing and growing and growing, and I think at some point in time people are going to realize, holy fuck, this site is like what PokerStars was back in the day, where you had rake back grinders, people who would sit there and they would play all year. Sometimes they'd even be a losing player. They wouldn't make a profit from being a poker player and playing at the tables, and they'd make profit from getting rake back. I mean, already today I've raked $1. Oh, sorry, I keep saying dollars. €1.73. But from the Splash the Pot rake back promotion, I have made like €1 something of that back. So because of that, I can quite comfortably say that I've got like 75% rate back or something like that, because of what I've earned versus what I've actually raked today. On PokerStars, I wouldn't even say it's almost non-existent. I would say it is non-existent. Based on, like, I played on PokerStars when they were in their heyday. Back when it was 2008 and everyone was sitting pretty and all that. I was a terrible player back then. I was shit. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And yet still somehow I was a profitable player because the games were that good. Like, you didn't have to know much about all you needed to know was the hand rankings and you could be a winning player. That's how good it was. And there was rate back through the roof, constant fucking rate back deals going on, you know, really trying to give back to the players, trying to incentivize people to play there, and that was great. And then they won. They won the online poker market, essentially, because of everything that happened with Full Tilt. And since then, they haven't had a real competitor. Party Poker is starting to get there now. But prior to that, like, and even still now, like, poker, you see the amount of traffic PokerStars gets compared to any other poker site. They've got the market virtually cornered. I'm gonna try something. This is probably bad. This is probably really bad, but I'm feeling frisky. I've got Jack 9, mate. There you go. Sometimes you try things and they work. But yeah, now the rate back on PokerStars is fucking pathetic. They did something and it really annoyed me, actually. Because I was playing on there a little while back and I'd gone up the ranks in the chests and I was almost at the next chest. I had like 2 levels left before I would be at the top of the next chest, or be able to access the next chest level. And you know what these motherfuckers did? They changed the requirements to get up to the next level. I think you had to earn like 2,000 or something, or 1,500 points, whatever PokerStars bloody points things are called nowadays, to get up to the next level. And whilst I was in the middle of trying to get to this next level, they multiplied it by 4 and made it 4 times harder to do. And I was just like, so what was the point then of me trying to get up to the next level? Because it's not going to happen now with me playing at 5NL. I would have to play at 10NL, possibly even 16NL, to literally achieve the exact same thing that I was just about to achieve playing at 5NL. And that really pissed me off. And that was when I started playing on other sites more often. Because I thought, fucking, you cheeky bastards. Like, how dare you take the piss like that? And it's become more, aside from, you know, aside from the some of the tournaments that they run and things like that, like, I don't see much reason to play on PokerStars anymore at all. If I want to play sit and goes, I'll play on there. sometimes if I want to play cash, I'll play on there. But honestly, now that I've been playing on Run It Once and playing on Party Poker more often, I don't see much reason to play on PokerStars. It's more of a, you know, if there's a tournament that I fancy playing, or if I'm streaming MTTs and Party Poker doesn't have many running, then I might hop into a few on PokerStars. It's mainly for streaming now, I would say. Despite the fact, like last month, was it last month? Last month or the month before, I came second in a tournament and won like 160 bucks or something like that. That was great, but those days on PokerStars are so fucking few and far between because the player pools are so big. You know, there's no point. If you're an MTT player, play on Party Poker. 100%. I can say that hand on heart. If you're an MTT player, play on Party Poker. Because the field there, A, is soft. B, you play against the same players every day. Like, no matter what day I play on Party Poker MTTs, I know that the same players are always going to be there, and I've got my notes on them telling me exactly how to play against them, how to exploit them. So what you want to do is do that. And then also, when I started playing tournaments on Party Poker probably about 2 months ago, I'd say, give or take 2 months ago. In that time, I've won 2 tournaments. I've never won an MTT on PokerStars ever. Not a proper scheduled MTT anyway. I've won some multi-table sit and goes, but I've never won an actual MTT. I've had, I think I've had a third. I've had a couple, 1 or 2 fourths. I've had a few fifths. I've had some sixths, some sevenths, some eighths, some ninths. Like, all kind of centered around either winning the tournament, getting a top 5 finish, or at least getting a top 10 finish kind of thing. And it's because the player pools are a lot smaller. Like, don't get me wrong, they're not tiny. You're not. Some of the tournaments you'll get will be, and there'll be 65 players, 70 players, 100 players, which aren't very big. And some of them will be like 300 players, but even 300 is such a difference to play on PokerStars and playing in a tournament where it's like 2,500 players. But like, how fucking often are you gonna actually make a final table, let alone win, when your field is average field size is 2,000, 2,500 players? It's fucking crazy, man. Yeah, I'll be back in just a sec. Just gonna sit out because I'm in need of the little boys' room, so make sure these tables don't come on. Okay, I'll be back in just a moment. Well, like I said, give me a shout when you're ready to go, and I'll end the stream and that. What? I won't hear anything because I've got my headphones on. This isn't a Rammstein. Right, okay. As you can probably gather, I'm back because I forgot to mute my microphone. Which is very unprofessional, but there you are. I'm not a professional, am I? So, I don't know what you could gather from that, but my girlfriend and I have an obligation. What the fuck? All right, okay. Have some other obligations to attend to this evening, so I'll be having to cut the stream short. Well, not cut it short actually. I was only originally planning to stream for an hour, so I've actually kind of gone over the mark with that. But what she's currently doing is our place of work currently has a Zoom summer party, is what they've called it, some shit like that. And they've got hit R&B sensation Craig David doing a set from his home. They paid Craig David, as in, 7 days Craig David, to do a music set for them, because they want him to, apparently. So she's watching that, and once that finishes, we've got something that we need to crack on with. So I'll be ending the stream at some point relatively soon. But until then, we're going to play some Cash, because sod's fucking law, just as I'm saying that I'm going to potentially end the stream, I've got all 6 tables open again, so there you go. JPEG. Oh, fucking... what's your name? Oh, I know your name, man. Because you're Mops mate from the Valleys, aren't you? And we were in the same college together. I watched you at the goddamn Welsh beatboxing championships. I can't think is it Jamie? Hold on, JPEG. I'm going to find you on Facebook now because I know you're on there. Unless you want to make my life easier and tell me what your first name is, because I can't remember for the life of me. But how are you, man? How are you? Good to have a fresh name screen. This is heinous. As is this. This I'm fucking calling this. Jack 8. There you go. There's your fucking evidence right there that people on this site are shit. That's being harsh. Like, they're not shit necessarily. I'm gonna guess he's got a misdraw. He does have a misdraw. Nice. Jake, fucking sorry, man. Like, it's been a while, and I've had some beer. I'm just being clear here. This is, I don't know what beer. I don't know how many beers I've had, but they've all been. This isn't even the beer that I thought. This is how many beers I've had now. I thought when I picked this up out of the fridge, I thought that said King Goblin. Clearly, it doesn't, and that's my problem. Yeah, Jake, man, how's it going, man? I know you were one of my first followers on here, actually. I think we followed each other, and Yeah, good to see you in here. Obviously, just like full disclosure here, you can see me bobbing my head and you can't hear any music, and that's because unless you've been living under a rock, Twitch have started like clamping down and banning people and shit like that for playing licensed music on their streams. So at the moment, I'm listening to music, but you can't. Well, you can listen. You listen to your own music. I think that's better personally. I tend to prefer it when I watch streamers and they're not playing their own music, because that makes it easier for me to put my music behind their kind of vocal backdrop. Of course, I remember you, man. 'Cause JPEG was your beatboxing name as well, wasn't it? I'm sure it was. I gotta say as well, I'm really interested to know whether or not I have made a profit in the whilst I've been playing. This is a slightly different experience to when I was playing the other day. The other day I just cleaned up and won like 6 buy-ins, but today no such luck. We've built some small stacks, but I've also lost a couple of hands here and there, so I might be up, but it's probably more like break even. Also, Jake, you might notice that you're writing something and then I'm responding a little bit later, and that's because of the delay, my man. Because when you're playing a game for money, you can't be broadcasting your holdings live on the internet for anyone to come and fucking see. So yeah, I know what you mean. That's why I've chosen Big Shades. Get Monero, my man. You are number 50. Thank you, bro. I'm assuming you are a bro. We've got a fellow Run It Once fan as well, by the looks of it. It's very. I've got to say as well, it's very rare I get a follow on stream. Most of the time, I get follows like in the huge gaping void when I'm not streaming. So it's a nice change to actually get a follow when I'm in the middle of the stream, man. But yeah, that's awesome, bro. And what that means is now that we're on 50 followers, we're not quite at affiliate yet, but it is no longer it's no longer in control of the internet and the world, if you see what I mean. It's now in my control. Basically, all I need to do is stream for a few days and just make sure that I stream for a few days, and I'll get affiliate status. So you may as well congratulate me now. Thank you. It's great. I don't know what to fucking do here, by the way. This is such a weird board texture. I don't like it. I don't like it. What are you gonna do? I don't fucking like it. And this is not the best flop in the world. I'm gonna c-bet kind of small. Just see if we can just get a fold out. Yes. Yes, Monero. You're not wrong, my friend. You're not wrong. The problem I find is that the other sites, they're all really trying hard to be innovative in creating new random shitty games that no one wants to play, like Spin and Go Max and fucking Poker Fusion and all that crap. You know what I mean? Whereas Run It Once, they're just kind of back to basics. You know what I mean? And do you know what? Let's have some music. thought it'd be funny to just get drunk and watch Craig David with some of her friends. So fair enough. But we got some stuff to do after we've after she's finished with her little whatever it is, her online gig, and she'll be sending a message in the chat when she does. So be sure when she sends a message saying "Blackface, we've got to go," be sure to berate her for ending the stream early. Just make sure you do that, guys, for me. I really appreciate it. No, I can't complain. We're having a takeaway, so you know what can you do? So we get aces, and then we get kings. Not quite the next hand, but almost the next hand. I love that shit. But yeah, I got it. Oh yeah, that's what I meant to do. So last time I played, sorry, I'm going to turn the music off now just to make sure that this bit isn't muted out. And in all honesty, I probably should have turned it off sooner than that. But there we are. But yeah, when I did my last stream, it's like a lot of people have watched this since then, and I really appreciate people, you know, coming to watch the streams, you know, after they've happened. It's great stuff. But what I always prefer is when people like you, fine gentlemen in the chat, were here, come along when the stream is active and when it's, you know, when it's popping off, and we can have a chat, and we can talk about how much of a pain in the ass PokerStars are, and how great most other poker sites are, and the bullshit with not being able to play music on your stream and shit like that. You know, I love that shit. So to you, the viewer who's watching this in fucking 4 days time, hit the follow button. You are. I'll even watch this now. You'll love this, right? Look at the top right in the right hand corner of the screen. Look at that shit. Isn't that special? Look at that. 3 hours it took me to get that to work. 3 hours. Hit the follow button. Come hang, come party. I'm looking to start streaming a lot more often as well, guys. I won't go into it, but it's been I was planning to stream more this week, and it's been a bit of a trying week, but it's all kind of, you know, the week is over now, and it's, you know, I'm feeling more positive, so that's why I've come on the stream this evening. I'm looking to do it a lot more often, and most likely on Run It Once, because I've really enjoyed playing on Run It Once this evening. I think it's a good site, and it's putting poker back in the right place where it should be. Get some cards, get some money, stick it all on a table, and just have a good fucking time. I'd be having a better time if betterer isn't the word. I'd be having a better time if that queen was a jack, but that's a pretty small bet. Question is, do I want to raise and try and get him off a hand, or do I want to just call? I think I just want to call, don't I? Because if he's got like ace king, oh sorry, ace queen or king queen, he's not folding. If he's got pocket queens, pocket nines, he's not folding. Pocket aces, pocket kings, he's not folding. However, he has like ace king or something. He might be inclined to do something stupid. Let's see if we can get him to do something stupid here. Given the fact that he checked back on the turn, I'm guessing he doesn't have a queen, which he doesn't. He had pocket fours, so we weren't going to get called on the river. We were hoping he was going to do something stupid, and he didn't. You do, eh? This guy likes a 3-bet. So, do you know what? Against this guy, I like a 4-bet. And that's exactly why. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff, lovely stuff. Nice one, Finn. I'm going to be turning the stream off in a few minutes anyway, so appreciate you coming and hang out. I'll see you again, mate. Oh. Alright, guys. I think I've hit a natural kind of stopping point here. All the tables have kind of slowed down a bit, so I think I'm going to take this opportunity to thank people for coming and hanging out. I've really enjoyed the stream. We hit our 50 follower goal, and that means that we are literally right on the cusp of getting that affiliate status, getting a sub button. I've got plans. I've got big plans for that sub button. As far as I'm concerned, people will get rewarded if they decide to sub to my stream. I've got plans to, review people's hands. If you sub during a stream, you can tell everyone in the chat your most recent bad beat story. Everyone loves a bad beat story. No one ever wants to listen to them, but I do if you sub to my channel. And yeah, I've got a couple of other things planned, but we'll save that for when I actually get the sub button, and yeah, be good stuff. So I'm going to sit these tables out on the next big blind. And for now, we're going to play ace-5 suited. Again, if you're new to the stream, if you've never watched me before, even if you have watched me before, and you fancy coming and hanging out again, please hit the follow button. Keep your notifications on as well. You'll see when I go live. You can also follow me on Instagram, where I'll be posting on my story every time I go live. You can also see me on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter to see when I go live. All my links are in the description below the stream. And if you don't want to follow, if you don't want to follow me on any of the social medias, that's fine as well. Just thank you for coming and hanging out and watching and supporting a small timer in a sea of big fish. I think we're going to make this the last hand now. And we're going to fold it out. Lovely. Thank you guys. I'll catch you next time.